All right, let's call the meeting of the New Canaan Police Station Building Committee to order, September 12th, 8:02. We have a quorum. We'll go through attendees later. Minutes. Good.
Just taking I was gone.
Put you into the absent.
Mhm.
Yep. Thank you.
Any other comments? Any comments out there in the minutes? Nope. Thank you. A motion to approve? Good.
I abstained.
Okay. Here's Jim. How about public comments? Any public?
No public comments.
Okay, good. We'll wait for Turner to get here before we ask them how that is going on. Joe, do you want to at least introduce the one thing we're likely to be voting on here today? While we have everybody's attention?
Sure. So unfortunately, I only have a paper copy, so for the people, we'll just physically describe it. But so it became apparent when we were moving around the generator and coordinating with Eversource that the generator itself, I'm sorry, not the generator, the transformer.
Describe how big a transformer is.
It's the one that exists there now.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a maybe this 6 feet tall and about 6 feet wide, 3 feet deep. So it's a fairly large piece of equipment.
Yeah.
And it always lived in the corner of the police station. It was going to continue to live there. We did have to move it a little bit for the sidewalk. So we already included in the cost of the bid and the GMP contract, Turner's cost to just kind of relocate it by a couple feet. So it became obvious when we were going through the coordination process with Eversource that we were actually going to move it with the change of grade and the place we needed to relocate it to in order to get it out of the way, just for the process of tying in all the new electrical, that it moved over to the right more, which centered it more in the facade. And it also raised up because the grade's changing there. So it became this thing that I was like, I don't think that I would want that in front of the police building. And it was done that way because it was the most cost-effective way to do it by Brian. And we were very conscious of the money at that, when we were starting the project, to not go over budget. But it became apparent that basically for the cost of some additional feeders and an additional conduit run over to where the generator lives, we could put it over there on that island. And I think it's a preferred location, and it's a nice location for it. And for the dollars, we don't have the dollars down yet. We don't have it fully relocated by the engineers. But I think, Larry, you have a placeholder in. I'm sure it's in this budget. 25.
Yeah. Yes, I did.
So what we'd be looking for is for a vote from the committee to start the process of relocating the transformer over in front of the generator.
Right, so talking about putting a big 6-foot box that was planned to be put in front left corner of the building as you look at it. Now with regraded and such, it's even more prominent than it was in the original design. It would sort of look, dare you say, silly, sitting there in front of the building. We have an opportunity to move it to the back left corner with the generator back there. And it just seems, from an engineering and aesthetic.
Back left corner of the building, not the whole property,
No,
right?
yes, it would be in front of the generator. So
Right, so not
when
moving
you
it
said
to the
left
back.
corner, if you're looking at the building.
Just to be
Sorry,
clear.
thank you. But it is going to cost some incremental money. Call it 25,000. It's going to be, call that plus or minus. But it is something that we all need to vote on from the building committee. Questions? Go ahead, Tom.
So I don't have this stuff in front of me, obviously, but is this an additional 25,000 or is this 25,000 offset by expenses we were gonna have to spend anyway in the other location?
This would be an additional 25,000 for the additional feeders and the additional conduit length.
Is there landscaping in front of, or is the road landscaping in front of that area?
Why don't you repeat the question?
Yes. Is there proposed landscaping in front of that area? Or can we propose landscaping in front
I
of
think
the
there's
transformer?
landscaping in that area. So we may
There is
wanna-
landscaping in the front of the building. So where the transformer was going to be located, there's landscaping there. We can look to, if we're moving the transformer, we can look to supplement, but we also have arborvitae in front of the generator.
Well,
So that arborvitae would get moved now to in front of the
It's
transformer.
already planned. It's not already there.
It's planned to be
Yeah,
there.
that's what I had in mind. Somebody to screen that from the,
Yes.
from the street.
Yes.
A large arborvitae, hopefully.
Several,
Yes.
no, just several,
Yeah.
not several, not one.
You can't block the door, right? Right.
Yeah, it has to
No, you
be.
gotta-
The
you gotta make sure good
the
access.
dots that you see around the box are bollards. We have to put protection bollards around, no matter where it goes. There would have to be bollards around the front. So in addition to the transformer being in the front, there would be bollards protecting it in the front. All of that moves now to the side of the building.
But they're coming anyway.
So
Yes.
we had asked to try and move this before, so as a committee, so I think it's great to move it. It's not, and is it costing us any more to do it now than it would have it, did it been in the original plan?
A little bit,
But not,
yeah.
so what are the bollards gonna look like? Some bollards are really ugly.
It's a steel pipe with.
Steel pipe.
concrete in it.
Painted black.
Right. You can, yeah, you can paint any color you want.
Right,
And they could even go behind the arborvitae.
right.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they just have to be there for protection, but they could be screened behind the arborvitae.
We need to protect the transformer.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That's mandatory.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, so because before it really wasn't, it's just on the front of the building.
Right.
And you have to check
Right.
that as well.
I
So
do have
why,
to say that the only complaints I've ever gotten about the police department were the location of the generator and the location of the transformer. Those are the two. Other than that, there wasn't anything else about the building that people complained about, so.
all right, so why don't we have any bollards on the,
we do.
no,
We
I
do.
see them, but there are not any on the, looks like, not, what side? Is that the east side? North side
North
of the north side?
Is it the blue dot?
The bollards, I think, aren't they the red dots?
The orange dots.
It looks like we're missing.
Travel way. That's a long travel way. They are seniors. That's still a long travel.
We do have to, Northeast Utility tells us where to install those bollards. They have a regulation for bollards.
And this is just a diagrammatic sketch, just so that we can make a decision on whether we're gonna actually design it and go forward with it. But you're correct, there will be bollards around it and they'll
So
be
we'll
done
probably
per
have
the
two more
standards.
bollards.
They'll be done to the standards that are required by Eversource Engineering.
All right.
You need a motion?
We do need a motion, Paul.
I'll make that motion. To approve the 25,000 to the appropriate location in front of the generator and next to the generator.
Do I have a second?
I would just say more appropriate.
More appropriate.
Okay.
Correct.
All right.
Value is. So dollar value.
Thank you. Yep. Any more discussion? All those in favor? Thank you. Passes unanimously. Let's go down back.
Can we
Oh,
just
sure.
go back to
Yeah.
that? So are we gonna have a change now to the front of the building and the planting schedule? Because that was sort of like in the front and we had all types of,
So the Beautification League is going to work with us for basically redesigning all the planting anyway. So that they'll be very appreciative that it's out of their way.
okay, so we don't, okay.
We don't have to take any.
The building committee would never presume to decide on the plantings and usurp the responsibilities of the beautification committee. We know our limitations and we know what lane we are to stay in.
Right. We did commit at the hearing to do native plantings.
Absolutely, absolutely, non-negotiable on that. That was a 100% eyeball to eyeball commitment from the building committee.
didn't blink.
No one blinked.
No one blinked.
No one blinked. Absolutely true. Turner.
Thank you. So
everybody's back from summer and I've got the monthly report here. I think it went out late last night. Sorry about that, but, and then obviously the budgetary information as well. Overview on the monthly report. The main activity during the month of August was the completion of the structure of the addition. And the starting of the masonry in the addition on the lower level for all the cell area and well, it's primarily the cell area. And that was really the emphasis. And then inside the building, we did on the lower level, after we got all the MEP coordination resolved, we trenched out the basement slab to reroute all the electrical conduits. So that was completed, installed, backfilled, and the slab repoured. And then we also put in a footing for rerouting some of the plumbing pipes coming out of the boiler room so that we could put up some steel and carry an arch there as well. So that was the majority of the progress. Upper level, we put some millwork counters in, and then the main level, we finished up some drywall work around the dispatch area and the lobby, but the bulk of the work was on the lower level in the addition. And now that we have that addition up, that opens up a lot of work for multiple trades other than just steel and masonry. In fact, this week we just snapped all the lines. So the carpenter is going to start putting track on the second level there, the main level. And the mason's going to continue to work and transition into the brick on the outside. But Scott will talk more about our look ahead. I guess an unfortunate situation and somewhat ironic, we did have a break-in on site recently, and looks like they were, quote, pros. They hit our job, they hit St. Aloysius, and apparently they hit Wegmans all in one day. And I know the chief and his crew are looking into it.
Is it copper they're looking for? What are they looking for?
No, they
nowadays?
broke into the tool boxes, the
Hmm.
gang boxes, and took a bunch of tools. And fortunately, they didn't destroy anything. I've had other jobs with spray paint coming in and stuff like that. So they were purely looking at, I think.
While we're on security of the job site, do we have cameras or?
We have cameras. They seem to know where the cameras were. They came around and they pointed them down.
Cameras are
Yeah,
visible from the
Yeah.
ground level, so.
there was one on the front of the building that wasn't connected. It was your old one, watching the front door. How they knew that one wasn't connected, I don't know. Anyhow. So,
Any trackers on the?
yes, they do have some trackers on some of the
One of them,
chips.
had a tile. I
Yeah,
think it's not like an air tag. It requires another Bluetooth device in this area of the tile. It doesn't work quite the same as an air tag, but
okay.
we're looking into it. We're looking at our surveillance videos from the area because we think Turner's occurred on, I think, Friday, and I think the St. A's one occurred some other time over the weekend. So we're looking at common vehicles that may have been in the area. So we're investigating it, but it's unfortunate. And, our investigators will look at pawn shops and pawn sites and stuff for the stolen items. But,
What's the total value?
We think about maybe 20, 30,000, something like that. There's some of the plumbing, there's a ProPress gun it's pretty expensive. So that was one of the targeted ones. They didn't break into every gang box. They seemed to know, I guess, where the better stuff was. So anywho, it happened.
So is that an insurance claim, and who puts who?
It's the insurance of each subcontractor.
Okay, so there you,
Along the subcontractor.
Yeah. So it's their
It still
individual
slows
claims,
down.
a little bit.
So no liability from the town
No.
standpoint, there was no damage, no change order.
Right.
or repair.
so are we making plans to change security going forward to make it more difficult?
We haven't developed anything just yet. I think we'll probably look to relocate the cameras. So, because they are down at grade level and easily, there was a camera on the trailer, but that was far enough away that it really, you couldn't see anything that, of note. I think you see some movement, but that's about it. So yeah, we'll double back and relocate those.
Will the building itself be secure enough where the gang boxes, whatever is inside?
Not yet.
No.
You know, the back end is wide open as
Right.
we're doing that addition right now. We do have a plywood door between the addition and the main building, so that part of the building is more secure. But most of these guys, you know, bring a
They have a universal.
bolt cutter.
Yeah, listen, at the end of the day, you know, we're really only keeping the honest people honest. At the end of the day, it's either jumping the fence, you know, we have exposure around the back of the EMS building, certainly. So, you know, if you want to get in, they're going to get in. I believe they were in the building, it appears, for about an hour or so, based on a couple of motions that we saw coming and going. So without getting too deep into it, it's just, we're certainly going to try. It's if you got something more important that's really valuable, then let's take it home at the end of the day. And certainly we're going to keep an eye on things a little bit more aggressively.
Just sort of a final thought on the moving of the transformer. Just it has a dollar impact, but it will probably also have a time impact as to when we can get our permanent power. I think there are some legal things in terms of easements that need to be done to satisfy the Eversource requirements. And it sort of restarts the whole process with Eversource. So we do want to keep those wheels turning as quickly as we can. And I think we need to, I don't know what the town has to do to approve that easement, whether that's a first selectman thing or the town council or whatever, but let's sort of scrutinize that and sort of.
So we've signed several easements with Eversource, so we're familiar with their language, and you are going to work on the survey portion of it so that we can have that. And even if there is no easement where it is now, so I think when we were going through the process, you were going to run into that anyway, because I think they were going to legalize, you know, kind of formalize, I should say, the easement that wasn't done, you know, 50 years ago, whenever it was placed there.
Great.
Good question. Larry, I don't know if you guys know that budget of $55,000, has there been a conversation with Eversource on a utility company charge? Like, are they going to charge you for the primary feeder and transformer?
No, because I think they already had that. They were already providing a new transformer. So the feeders, I don't think are significantly different.
Well,
It's the secondary side that's longer, which we pay for
right, that's in
anyway.
the $25,000, I imagine. Does the $25,000 include the primary feeder?
No, it does not. This is only for our work. I think we need to, it's gonna be a new kind of application or amendment of the current permit to to Eversource, and they have to do their homework and determine that scope. I can't speak for them at this moment, because they last time they want a drawing. So I think right now we spoke. I think Brian and his team is going to help us to create drawings, and then we can send it to Eversource, and then we could have a further conversation with them and see if there's cost impact. And I think it's going to be direct cost with them and the town itself, or invoice or something like that. So we'll see on that part of it.
Yeah, I just want to make everybody aware that there could be, besides the $25,000, if they decide to charge for it, and usually they will. They don't do stuff for free.
So in the soft cost, we had some money for that because we anticipated that. So it was still going through the engineering department. It's a matter of, you know, an extra 50 feet of feeders. I don't think it's worth.
They pull a whole brand new one. So.
Well, I think
we always had you
always
anyway.
gonna do that.
We always had you anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And they said they were gonna do that for $0.
Nice, okay. So maybe
All
it's-
right, where on this diagram, where was it going before?
I guess-
Sort of where the
Where
generator.
was the
Right next to
That
where
was
it
where
was.
it's gonna be here?
That's where it is.
That's where it
That's
is?
where it was going to go.
And
That's
now
where
it's gonna go
going
over
to
here.
Over there.
Okay, there's a lot of other sort of information on the monthly report. I'll leave that to you guys to run through on your own. We'll transition into the PCO log. Oops. Someone's got a phone on. Your computer. Okay, there we go. So everybody ready? PCO log? Again, I'm just going to be hitting the yellow items. Those are the things that have changed. The first one, line 32. We've talked about this before. It's still approximate, but we've just updated the dollars. It was previously 10,000, and so it's now adjusted up slightly to 13,815. Going down to line 46, which has to do with some petition revisions. This just went from pending to approved, so the same dollar value. The next one, line 49. This actually went the other way. This is for the carpet, changing the carpet, the flooring down in the lower level from carpet to vinyl. It went from approximate to pending, and the original estimate.
Where's that gonna be?
This is down in the circulation area on the lower level, outside the fitness area.
Okay, so can you describe just aesthetically what we had and what we're going to, and what the pattern of the vinyl tile is gonna be?
When we were in design, we originally had vinyl tile in the corridor section outside the gym. Just prior to going out to bid, there was a discussion with the police department about how they wanted to use that corridor. So prior to bid, we changed it at the last minute from vinyl to carpet. In conversations about the design of the gym, we introduced some turf into the gym area, which now we could get rid of the carpet in the corridor and go back to our original design intent to put vinyl.
Right, so we saved money on one carpet, but we did put
Yeah.
a carpet area in the gym.
Right. So it was just in the sequence of when it went out to bid and continuing conversations about the gym design. So we are back to our original vinyl in the corridor.
And your original pattern and design vinyl.
There is a pattern, there is a design in the corridor, so it's back to the original intent. And we're taking out the carpet concept in that corridor. So this is the cost to go from carpet to the pattern vinyl.
Okay, good.
The next item, line 58. This number just adjusted. Yes, no, this is a light fixture. Yeah, the bollard, light fixture bollards. Yeah, we talked about this at length the last week. This is really just, I think it's in for approval. We're just waiting for it to come back. And then it'll move to
I'm sorry, I
approved.
wasn't here last month. Can someone just tell me really quickly what the light fixture change was?
There are fancy lights out front, and there were plain modern bollard with the lights on the top of them. We replaced them with matching bollards to match the lights out by the street.
Okay,
So they're all now the same lamp style.
excellent, thank you.
The next one has to do with all the rerouting of the MEP and the lower level that I talked about earlier. A portion of this, we have firm numbers for. That's primarily some of the engineering costs from the subcontractors, the electrical costs, the fire protection costs. So those we're proceeding to put through for approval. And you'll see that there's still a pending amount at 55,000. The overall number has increased from 95 to 106 because when we submitted the coordination drawings, the engineer upsized some of the pipe size for the hot water piping for the heating system. So we had to sort of increase our estimate due to that. So that accounts for about the $10,000.
Can you keep that, I'm sorry, can you keep that as a separate line item so that, because we already voted on and approved the
Okay.
95. So if there was an incremental increase that was driven by a design change, can we just keep it as a separate line item?
Larry, did you catch that?
Yep. You know,
Thank you.
So we'll just create a different PCO. Okay, going down to 68. This just moved from approximate to pending. And this is for, this is grouting the gap between the block and the brick on the west side of the building. We've talked about this before. There was a little bit of a void at the window areas that were infilled over time. When we put the soil against that, we didn't want to, compress those two elements together. So this is just a hard cost to do that grouting. Was originally 6,000, so it's come down a little bit. The next one, number 69, this is the trim at the vestibule. That just went from pending to approved. Came back to us. Number 70 is, there was an ASI that relocated some of the cameras on the rear of the building from, I think, a lower elevation up higher. It also changed the model number on the camera. So this is the additional cost for the equipment as well as the electrical run to the cameras. The next one, physical training room, clarifications. Again, this was the sketch that added outlets, added the turf in the middle and just overall upgrades to and adjustments to the fitness area. We've talked about this before. The numbers have just solidified. So we were originally carrying 16, that came down a little bit to the 13,891.
On the turf in the middle, what's the expected life of that? How often would that have to be replaced?
Football fields are like 10 years. I don't think this will get any kind of wear comparable to that. So I would think it's. Okay. Yeah.
Plus, the fields come by with it. They've got a G-Max factory rating too, so we're not gonna have that problem here. So
Right.
that's the main thing that drives the turf is G-Max factor, not necessarily the turf itself.
So
G-Max.
So
it's impact.
It's an impact test, right? So, for safety. Yeah. We won't have that here. Yeah. Right.
Let's see, now we're turning the page. Number 78. Again, we talked about this as we deleted some millwork at the dispatch area. This just went from pending to approved and was signed. Then we have some of the new items. Number 82, this was a case where the model of the security equipment, the brain of the security system was discontinued. So we had to go to a newer model number and guess what? The newer model number had a
Are you
newer
saying that
price on it.
the supplier of the security equipment took this as an opportunity to raise prices by changing the model number?
What else? Surprise, surprise.
Never happened.
Never happens.
The next one, this is the paint color revision. We've talked about a lot. This is just a guesstimate. We're going from a dark color to a lighter color, so we'll probably have to put another prime coat on it.
So wait, all right, so what color do we go to?
Lighter brown. No, blue. Blue, sorry, that's what I meant to say, blue.
It's a blue gray instead of brown. Let It Rain. It's called Let It Rain.
Okay, was it the same as the color on one of the other floors? It was,
No,
is it a
no,
new
it's a
color?
unique, color just now for admin.
So it's called,
Let It Rain.
Let it rain.
okay.
Sherwin-Williams, Let It Rain.
That's more expensive.
It is worth,
It's not really more expensive. It's
It's
just a
Just
primer
repainting
to
it,
block
right?
to do it again.
okay.
The next one, 84, ASI for some, the added casework in the IT office. And
So I'll just comment on that. So the case, it's either gonna be furniture or casework. This right now is a placeholder for it to be casework. It would be funded from the furniture budget, but it would just be a transfer from the soft cost over to this contingency, so wouldn't necessarily draw down the contingency, but we'll keep it there. So this is the basket that catches all the costs, and it's just it's being
We're still dialing
developed.
in what we need in that room with our IT people, so it may not even touch that, so.
85 is the transformer relocation, 25,000 we've already talked about. And then the last one, we go $50, that PCO will be funded out of holds within the GMP. There are a lot of new doorways that we cut into existing masonry that may or may not have shown lintels. We know they have to have lintels, so we had a hold for that, and that's where we're using on that.
You had- Yeah, you had, you have this.
In two places.
Two places, yeah.
Right, so we had $10,000 of holds.
Right.
We think it's gonna be more than that, so we're funding the balance of it out of our contingency.
So it's about 20,000.
Right.
Plus change.
And actually, we also included some structural work associated with the MEP relocation. It was part of the overall number, and to break it out didn't seem really worthwhile. It's
So,
yeah, it all sort of comes together. So now just looking at the holds, this really just refers to some of the stuff we've already talked about. The first, the yellow line, the 10,000, that's the lintels we just talked about. And the next page, that yellow line is operator error. That means nothing. And then when you go at the holds report, Larry also, there were a couple of poke throughs, which are floor outlets, that he funded out of a couple of holds that we have. So the 3570 and the 174 is actually the same item, but we have exhausted the first hold, so we went in and used a portion of a second hold. Then no changes to allowances, and then on the last page in contingency, the 12,500 for the soil sampling at the beginning of the job, which I think you voted on in the last meeting or one of the meetings, that just went from pending to approved. And then on the bottom is the balance of the lintel work that we just talked about that's getting funded out of our contingency. And that's the number story.
Okay, so your contingency or current contingency for 85?
Yes, remaining.
And then where's the town?
Well, Gino
Eugene's
go
got that.
through in his report. Question for Turner, generator will still say in October, is Turner's
It's shipping,
experience?
it's shipping
feelings,
the
okay.
end of this month. It will go to a rigger. And then get delivered here. We have to pour the pad. We've excavated for the pad. And so that'll be happening in the next week or so. So we should be ready to receive it.
And there are no other real lead time
No,
items that you're concerned about?
no, the window sashes, they're tracking, I think, to later in October, about that time frame. But we have plenty of time with those in. We'll probably leave them at Ring's End until we finish cleaning the outside of the building and doing other things that could potentially damage them.
Are they gonna do that from the inside?
Yeah, they're made to be replaced and
Oh,
they can
okay.
set some tabs. It's really quick, actually.
Scott?
Yes, good morning. How we doing? All right, so Ty hit it nail on the head. Our main focus in the past has really been lower level and exterior of the building. So the upper area have been minor details that's been happening on the upper level. Just simple things. We took the garbage chute out of the window and we're patching around there, preparing for some millwork. But all in all, the upper level is kind of waiting and ready for the finishes to start. We're holding off. Again, our intent is to try to get some temperature control as well as mitigate, the dirt and dust. So we're waiting a little bit for that work to recommence up on the upper level. The main level, the real focus has really been around the dispatch area, getting in and out of the dispatch area, finishing the bullet resistant parts and pieces there. It takes a little bit of time to get those layers of bullet resistant in there to make sure we've got all the proper protections in place. So we're finishing that up on the main level, painting, getting final above ceiling inspections down there. Again, we're just buttoning things up and closing up with final bits and pieces of insulation above ceiling on MEP and getting prepared for the hard ceilings in the lobby. The real focus of our work has really been down on the lower level. What you're looking at here is the boiler room. We had taken down the ceiling in the boiler room, giving us an opportunity to use some of the spaces up in the joist to manipulate and manage some of the MEP trades because it gets really tight down there. So that's this photo here. Again, we put, you can see the housekeeping pads on the floor down there that we put, and then we've got the temporary support up there, keeping everything in place. So the next one here is really where a lot of our focus has been. This is the slab on the main level. So we have, this is our team right there. If you look close down on the floor, there's a robot that they're driving. The robot runs around. The robot does the layout for the walls and tells us where all the openings are, where all the door frames are. It tells us the type of wall that goes in, etc. So that happened yesterday, which was a good day to get all that layout done. The next photo you're seeing here is where you got me, Larry. The next photo here is the roof of the canopy. So this is the canopy roof, all buttoned up. All those brown marks are all the welds of the decking that has been installed. So now, because that roof is pitched, we're going to get to put the storm drainage in there so we can begin managing the rain down in this area. And we're preparing to get on the upper level, the upper roof, a temporary roof in there is going to be coming next week. So those are two good things. That getting that temporary roof up there helps us expedite our work in the main level, a new addition, and allows us to continue work kind of without any water disruption as we build the perimeter of that area. Like Ty said, we're getting that cold form metal framing is coming this week, and we're going to begin the layout and hopefully get that thing framed up in a couple days. Then going to the next window here. This is kind of like.
Well, can I ask a question while we're on that picture?
Sure.
Having just redone some flat roofs in a Florida condo complex, what is the flat roof there didn't end up looking too great at the end? What is this gonna look like at the end?
It's gonna look like a flat rubber membrane roof. So it's a
color.
It's pitched.
Yeah, I mean
it's pitched with the insulation on it. We're occupied.
What color is this? I think it's just a black. It's a white. It's a white roof. White.
It'll be great.
It'll be gray.
Yeah, that's our compromise between a black roof and a white roof.
Right.
Well done, Gene. That's well done.
It'll be blue gray.
We don't know if it's a dark gray or a light gray.
Is it gonna get, I'm just curious. It is what it is. We're not gonna change it. Is it gonna get stained or is it gonna be out? It's just gonna be visible from the back of that. You can look at that picture now. You can see that anybody looking at the back is gonna see it.
Yeah.
A lot of mechanical equipment that sits on the high roof, so that will block your view of the lower roof a little bit.
And the windows on the lower level are a little bit higher there. So yeah, I mean, you will see it, but it is.
We'll cover it with solar.
Yeah,
That is,
That's true, we might.
that lower level is, but to Ty's point, there is mechanical, you'll be looking out the window.
Which is not in the plan, but wired for it, as we recall. But yes, sort of in the back of our minds, we're thinking it is a pretty good spot for solar power.
And now we made that solar ready, right? Okay, well, that's what's good. It's gonna be solar. Fabulous. Thank you. That's what I need to do in Florida. Okay?
Well,
Well, it could be.
all right, so, all right, so.
Sorry. Larry, go back. So, sorry.
Yep. There, okay, so then now we're looking underneath in the canopy, under the area, as you can see on the left-hand side of the Sally Port, right there. The walls have come across on the jail cell area processing, all the way across through the corridor, storage room, and then into the garage area here. So, as you can see, that basically the CMU is kind of wrapping up, and we're preparing for the next round of a brick, that's gonna kind of travel around the perimeter, to create that exterior wall, area.
Yeah, behind that wall that you're looking at, there are a lot of partitions behind that. So it's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's hard to get a photo because it's so tight, with the fisheye, it gets a little deceiving. Certainly, I welcome a walkthrough or a visit at any point in time. Just stop on by and we could take a look. And then what we see here is, again, our conduits that are coming across the drive from the generator transfer switch parts and pieces, which is, again, our next focus on the exterior of the building, is getting the site work generator ready, the transformer piping, and start trying to button up some of the areas so we can get ready to begin to grade the exterior. So those are our focus, where we've been focusing on for the past month.
Questions?
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Gene?
I have nothing further to say.
Want to hand out your,
Yeah, let me, share my report. Oh, yeah, sorry.
Larry, if you can stop sharing.
Thank you. Do you want one?
If
I'll give it to you at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can share.
I have to check.
Oh, sorry. We got an extra one.
Okay, so just the first qualification, we're about a few days behind Turner's report, and we've tracked up to PCO 84. So we do not have the $25,000 cost for the generator included in this number right now. So right now, we're projecting about $1 million in owner soft costs, less the $25,000 that should come out of that. And as Joe had mentioned, we are carrying about $35,000 in our soft costs for utility company charges. So if there aren't any, maybe that money can be used for that. So, or we zero it out of our soft cost. So there's a good chance that this could end up being a wash overall. So that's probably the biggest takeaway, I think, in the report from the projections on the schedule. Things are tracking fairly normal. The big milestone, I think, for us next is really watertight, as Scott mentioned. That's really the biggest part, to kind of get the inside of the existing building moving. So that's according to their schedule, was an October start, and sometime mid-third week, fourth week of October. That's really from my perspective, the next big milestone. Challenges going forward really are just that transformer relocation. As Ty mentioned, it's a potential issue just from a critical path standpoint, and not to mention the cost, but just getting that permanent power in the building is an important piece, so that they can get everything, the permanent equipment running, getting it conditioned, and basically commissioning all the MEP systems. Let's see what else we got. The report has the breakout. I kind of shortened up the breakout because it's pages long. So I just took really the owner contingency items that have occurred over the last month or so. And anything in red is really a change from the previous month. So that's how we get that $1 million soft cost contingency balance. And then just the schedule commentary was really just related to the transformer relocation. But I think we're covered budget-wise on that. Schedule-wise, not so much. And then on the tracking for total completed and stored to date, we're at, we had about $1.1 million of expenses for the month of July. Is that July? I may have that wrong.
No, I think that's August.
Yeah.
July was, I think, 700,000. So that was.
Yeah, that may, I think I'm
drop.
missing a bar there. Yeah, but the 51% is the correct number right now.
Actually, July was 852.
No, the August percent complete.
Oh. Our percent complete, schedule wise, we're at 61%, and work in place or dollar wise, we're at 51.5.
Okay, yeah.
So we're still dragging a little bit.
Yep.
When do you expect to catch up?
I think this September and October are going to be two really big months. Our manpower is increasing. We were down in the 20s. We're now almost 40, and that should go up now that we can get more carpenters on the job doing partitions. Masons are a big number. We're increasing site work crews. So we need to be getting close to a $2 million month. And I think that won't be this month, but it should be next month in October.
Your projected cash flow curve, that chart shows you're peaking in September and then it's dropping quite steeply for the rest of the construction timeline, right?
Yeah, that was our original one before we had a couple of the delays. So
is the peak now moved to like October? Is it November?
yes, I would say it's October. We'll be ramping up from here to October and November, and then it'll drop off from there.
Okay. Anything else for Gene? Thank you, sir. Scott, one question for you. I forgot to ask neighbors. Any neighbor input?
Please.
Nope, neighbors have been good. I walked with Alec yesterday afternoon, as we're gonna begin the process of kind of stretching out a little bit of the fencing along the EMS drive. We just got to get scaffolding in there off the building enough to be able to work the brick facade. So I walked with Alec yesterday, Alec, and he's good with what we're doing, our proposed thing. We're gonna set it up, and if there's any issues, he'll get back to me. And then the only other thing is I'm gonna send an email out to the neighbors, just updating them as we prepare to relocate the shed. Just a couple challenges we've had on site that we needed to focus on before we branch off for kind of like that little side job of moving the shed. So other than that, we're in good shape.
Thank you.
That's a major milestone, I think.
Yeah, the shed.
We've been talking
That
about.
and the cupola. That and the cupola
Amen.
probably get put up.
Amen.
Yeah. Brian, did you have anything else you wanted to?
No, not really. We've been working behind the scenes really with Turner almost on a daily basis. They're concerned about schedule. We're concerned more about quality. So we're working together behind the scenes, things that we are doing, answering the RFIs that are out there, trying to get the sketches that they need, putting together a keying schedule to make sure that when the police department moves in, all the keys function and work as planned. So in the next couple months, you're gonna see finishes going in. So this is always a time where the quality has to be there and the protection has to be there, because once it's in, we don't want it to be damaged. And we want to make sure it's in once and done, and done right. So we're liking what we're seeing so far.
Thank you. Chief, anything on the temporary building, anything you need to know about? All good?
I just had a question on the FF&E. Where are we on the finalizing that and how much of that is still open?
So we are out to bid tomorrow, with bids due October 10th.
And the building committee gave an update to the Board of Finance this week, and we will be giving an update to the town council next week. Anything else before we adjourn? Thank you. Let's go adjourn.
What's the time?
Thank you.
Yeah,
Fine,
that's right.
Rick?
Yeah. I do need